Hello everyone, it's Jaguars time to shine in our draft preview. With the Jaguars, the first year of Liam Cohen has been a tremendous success. Yet, this team is in rougher shape than a lot of people probably realizes. And it's due to mistakes of the past. They have pushed a lot of money towards the future years, so they are definitely limited with a lot of options. And that's probably the reason why in this offseason they kind of had to let go several guys. Devin Lloyd, the big name. But also De'Ami Brown, Tony Mount, Travis Etienne, of course, and Greg Newsome. Two of those guys are mainstay of this team. Travis Etienne was great last season. Devin Lloyd, one of the best linebackers. Yet, they have made, in my opinion, smart moves by letting them go, hopefully wreaking some compensatory picks, because the salary cap situations of this team going forward, when Trevor Lawrence's cap hits are going to get brutal, they are not in the greatest of shape. Now, here you can see a short review of their needs entering this year's draft. If you want to dig deeper and you are not bothered by my cat scratching because she does that every time I try to speak English, let's dig deep, shall we? So we will start with a QB room. And there is really not much to say. This is a tier 3 need, they don't need to invest in this, they have Trevor Lawrence. And I would say for the first time since his second year, it really felt like Trevor Lawrence is the answer. Is a great answer and the guy that was promised when they drafted him first overall, and he was labeled as a generational talent. I don't think he necessarily moved into top 10 last year, but if he continues to play like he did, especially second half of the year, he will get there this season. So really not much to add. I, for this team and a lot of others, would really like a guy like Carson Beck if he falls to like a 5th round, because I think you have a clear starter for, let's say, 7 years to come, and you only need a backup after him to really be like high floor, a lot of experience, and pretty much no ceiling. Carson Beck, we all know he doesn't have the traits. He's not going to be a starter in the NFL. He can be a damn good backup. So I would say if you are talking Jaguars, if you are talking Chiefs, there is a lot of teams that could use Carson Beck if he falls like to a 5th round. So I really would like that. But other than that, this is really tier 3 need. In terms of running backs, even though they let Travis Etienne go, I think they have committed enough themselves into Bishal Tutin and really thinking he is going to be the answer for this team. And with running back being a position that you can fix during the season, like for example, if Bishal Tutin is not your guy, midway through the year, I would say there is a high chance that, for example, Arizona Cardinals are out of playoff contention. James Conner is there. 5th round, you can get James Conner. And he will immediately improve this room. But with needs of really not spending too much money, especially on running back, I think Bishal Tutin in year 1 showed enough that you can entrust him with this room, and you will see during the season. But right now, I think they position themselves in towards it's not a great situation, but we like our solution and we know we can fix it if this goes bad. I'm really sorry for her. Now, in terms of wide receiver, another room that really feels like it's just set in stone. Because Jacoby Myers, great addition, one of the best that have been done. Parker Washington, there might be another breakout year. He is really nice. Brian Thomas, he was nowhere near his first year production, but he was still very solid. And, he's still Brian Thomas. It's a year 2. Let's not forget how great he was in year 1. And, of course, you have the enigma of Travis Hunter. Is he going to be a two-way player? Is he going to play mainly defense or mainly offense? As of right now, it looks like mainly defense, so I will count him much more towards the CB room, but you cannot leave him from the wide receiver contention. This gives you wide receivers free that can absolutely set the tone, and Travis Hunter as your wild card, superstar, potential, whatever you want to call him. So another room that I don't think needs too much worried come draft. I'm sorry. Now, in terms of tight ends, I would argue that they have a slightly bigger issue because Brandon Strange had a breakout year. He was really magnificent, but he suffered an injury. He is not contracted, in my opinion, for years to come, and you don't really have tight end 2. So while I don't see this as a primary need, as a tier 1 need, I think tier 2 is absolutely justified here because in a year, you want to have 12 personnel at your availability at any given point. You want to feel comfortable about your tight end 2. And with Brandon Strange, they have not re-signed him yet. There is 1 year left. So can they perhaps see him as another potential casualty of sins of the past? We will have to wait and see. To me, tier 2. Offensive tackle is one of the positions that is kind of the weirdly really damn good on this team. Anton Harrison, really damn good right tackle, improving. And they thought they had an answer in Walker Little as their another franchise tackle, but he was straight up outplayed by Cole Van Lanen. Nobody seen that coming, but Cole has been real damn good. They have really cut this to the chase and went, okay, Cole, we will resign you, 3 years, 60 million, or something like really close to that. And that leaves Walker Little as kind of the odd man out, but he is probably the best backup in the league right now. And they do think about moving him towards the guard. So this is a room that, in my opinion, has no need for help. There have been a lot of investments, whether it's money or draft capital. In terms of a center, because I want to split the internal area of that offensive line, I feel like Robert Hensey is absolutely a worthy center to start and not care about. He is not your superstar, he is not your plus player, but he's not a player you necessarily worry. And with Jonan Mannheim, you have a developmental piece behind, so another tier 3 need. In terms of guards, with Walker Little sliding there, I think also this is the room that has a lot of good quality. I like Wyatt Milum. There is obviously big investment in Patrick McCurry. Ezra Cleveland is no longer there, in my opinion. No, he is still there. Oh, okay. So you have even Ezra. Fixed room. Is it necessarily like something that you are encouraged? No, but this is interior you absolutely get by and you have depth. So another room that you kind of don't need to worry about, which leaves us that this offense is pretty much set in stone. You can think of another tight end. Maybe you can think of a running back. I would not, though. Now, in terms of defense, things are not as smooth. Despite resigning Trevor Walker, which was kind of the main if when I considered this room like 2 weeks ago, whether they will keep Trevor Walker and whether they will overpay for him, they kind of didn't. I feel like that contract was like slightly more than I would love, but less than I've expected if he would be staying here. So that to me is fine. Of course, you have Josh Heinz-Allen, who is the superstar of this room. And like with Trevor Walker, they are a great pairing. At the same time, there is no real depth to speak about, at least not in terms of my approval or guys that I would really like. So this puts this room towards the tier 2 because, yeah, you like the top 2 pieces very, very much and you are committed to them for years to come. But the depth is not there. So even though like I would not mind spending, not spending even like day 2 draft picks, bring 2 bodies, round 4, and kind of be done with it. You really need, like similar to quarterbacks, you need guys with high upside, not really too much potential because you don't need them to be your number 1s or number 2s. That story changes with interior of the defensive line because this to me is the biggest problem that this team is facing. And they have tried to fix this room over the years, bringing Eric Armstead as a veteran, Devon Hamilton, they have invested in Mason Smith. But Eric Armstead, not really that great anymore. Devin Hamilton, kind of meh DT3 in my opinion. And Mason Smith so far, like DT4 is kind of a reach if he's even that. So that leaves you in a position where you try to have a good room. You have workable for 26, but none of your veterans is signed after this year. Mason Smith so far, really disappointing second round pick. And like you kind of like depth even behind this. And this is not too much. So this to me is low tier 1 that I would not be shocked at all if they have spent a first round pick that they have not because of Travis Hunter trade. So it leaves them in a bit of a weird situation that they kind of need to hope that one of the, I would say, top 4 defensive tackles that are available in this draft slides to them in 56. How likely is that? Probably not too much. They do have, though, like third round picks, 3 of them, couple of 5th, couple of 7th. So for other rooms, I think they are fine. Specifically for D tackle, it sucks not having a first round pick because I feel like this room really needs this massive investment. Now, in terms of linebacker, even though they have lost Levin Lloyd, they have reinvested in this room several times. They have like, at one point, I think it was 24, they had like 6 linebackers that they have kind of spent draft capital and somehow was there. Right now, Foyesade Olakun is good starter. Is a good number 1 linebacker. Do you necessarily have guys next to him? I don't think so. I don't think neither of these investments / develop and stage guys necessarily proved to be worth an LB2 spot. Right now, you also lost some of them because their rookie contracts disappeared. So you have Ventrell Miller, you have Jack Kaiser. I'm not confident in either one of them. So to me, this is probably a room that the third round picks that you have 3 of them should be spent. So tier 2 need, in my opinion. Corner, here they are set. Tyson Campbell, great outside piece. Jordan Lewis, even though I was like alone on the signing last year, I felt like he's a great slot for them. And then you have Montaric Brown, who can definitely be your number 2 outside corner. Jahmyr Jones, who can absolutely fight for the spot. And Travis freaking Hunter, that probably could be or should be your CB1 of the future, because I think that's probably his best usage. This room does not need any investment as of right now. Again, you can always have like a shortage in terms of corners, but if we talk needs, this is a tier 3 and it's said and done. Now, in safeties, the biggest puzzle piece, question mark, Antonio Johnson, because the funny thing is, when you look at his last 2 seasons by PFF, I know PFF is not to everybody's liking, and they are imperfect, and what they are doing right now is much less than imperfect. We will see where in future they will at least provide interesting things. Right now, they are letting a bunch of people that should not be let go. We will see. But back to Antonio Johnson, 24, one of the worst rated safeties in the league. Last year, the best one. So where does he land in his 4th and final piece of his rookie contract? Definitely the up and down scenario of his progression or regression is a big factor. You also have Eric Murray as kind of your stabilizing presence as a veteran. But the long picture, you don't know what Antonio Johnson you are going to get. Eric Murray is older. Like, you don't necessarily have planned for 27, in my opinion. And that to me does give you good enough reasons to push this into tier 2. Overall, there is just one glaring weakness on this team, in my opinion. Whether it's you think the room is workable for 26, I can give you that. But defensive tackle is one thing that needs to be addressed. Absolutely. There are a couple of other rooms, but for them, like the positions that they are present in draft for the Jaguars, like 3 third round picks, I think those picks could be really a key for their future, because they need to replenish with another great draft. Because once again, there is going to be a lot of money tied in contract, for example, for Trevor Lawrence in terms of cap hit. Just to give you a sneak peek. Right now, it's 23 millions for Trevor Lawrence. Next year, 35. Then it's 47. Then it's 79. With John Hines Allen, now it's 23. Then it's 41. So just like, you don't necessarily see it because people say, like, okay, he got 4-year, 120 millions, and you think it's going to be distributed evenly. Based on cap hit, usually that's not the case. Teams are trying to lighten the first years and really backload the problems of the past. Why? Well, two things. A, they want to have a better product right now, hopeful salary cap increases, etc., etc. B, let's be fair. For a lot of GMs, 2029 is not their problem. Like, they would like to be there. The likelihood of that is not even 50%. Thank you very much for listening. If you like it or dislike it, leave a like, leave a comment, and see you with the next one. Bye bye.